play the recorder in 4th grade? Did you have that too?
I did, yeah.
Man, that shit was stupid.
I fucking sucked.
I paid $3 for my recorder.
Really?
3 United States dollars for my recorder.
So now it's probably the equivalent of like $1.3.
It's the equivalent of it's the equivalent of a turtle murdering device because it's been thrown in the trash. It was thrown in the trash years ago.
Ah.
So it's
Turtle homicide is right up your
directly
alley.
into the ocean.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I played recorder. I really didn't.
I used to hate that shit.
It was stupid. Like I was like, man, I kind of want to learn like guitar maybe.
So like, take this fucking tube you blow in.
Yeah, here, take this fucking stupid tube.
Whatever.
And then you know they try to teach you out, and you're like, this shit sucks. I want to learn a cool instrument.
Yeah.
And and then it took the drive I had to learn any instrument. So
yeah, they were secretly just prepping you for a breathalyzer. They knew.
Yeah, they're prepping all of us.
Yeah.
And they would have you would play the recorder, and if you could play, you'd do a little performance. You could you get little yarn that they would put around your recorder, say like, oh, this is your yellow belt. She would tie like a little yellow string on your recorder.
That's weird. Yeah, I didn't have that.
I had no belts, bro.
No, yeah, I definitely would have had.
I had none, because I wouldn't even play. I would pretend.
Yeah.
I would pretend, because if you didn't bring your recorder, which I didn't bring mine frequently, you had to use a pencil. And you'd have to you'd finger the notes on the pencil. But even when I had the recorder, I was just like, she wouldn't pay attention to all of us. I'd just be like,
that's where you get your dexterous fingers from, brother.
I fucking
on them gaming. Chris is actually just secretly making the sounds.
I could probably play Hot Cross Buns though still. Because it's like fucking 2 notes.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the 143rd installment of the Synapse Misfire Podcast. I'm your host, famous recorder player Chris, and joined by our other host, not famous recorder player Jordan.
That's me, baby.
It's Jordan.
Me. What?
We put this platform. We put this platform on a lot of shows.
Yeah.
We put this show on a lot of platforms.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck are those platforms, man?
What are those? So you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify Podcast, and the RSS Feed, all linked below. There's also Spotify and YouTube for video portions. And you can contact us via email, synapsemisfire@pm.me. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, and death threats. We have Instagram and TikTok and the YouTube comment section. I'm going to see how much faster I can get with that until eventually you have to literally slow down the audio to just be able to perceive what we're saying. But
you're going to have to be like one of those people who gives you the warnings at the end of commercials.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, side effects may include death, super death, resurrection, and death again.
Yeah. And hemorrhoids.
And spontaneous combustion.
Yeah.
You may just straight up explode if you take this. And meanwhile, the people in the commercial are like, ooh, celebrate good times. They're having a little dance competition.
Yeah, they're fucking playing soccer with their kid Timmy. They're like, yeah, Timmy. And it's like, you may explode.
Timmy. This may increase suicidal thoughts. Do not operate heavy machinery. Which
don't live when you take this medication.
Is something that always struck me as like bulldozers and shit. Like heavy machinery. I'm like, oh, I don't do that.
But it means like cars.
Yeah, they mean like cars. And then most of the time they put that on there, they're like, you don't have to listen. It's just a cover your ass kind of thing.
Yeah, it's illegal.
Like, obviously, if you're taking like painkillers, like maybe don't drive. But
yeah,
for most things, you're probably fine.
Nah, bro, I take a Tylenol and I'm out for days.
The acetaminophen got me fucking slumped.
Don't even get me fucking started on that naproxen sodium, brother.
Oh man.
Fucking, I drool sometimes when I take that shit. I almost die. I almost drown myself.
I took what? Don't get me started. I take one children's chewable Benadryl.
Dude, fucking one Flintstones gummy got me fucked up.
I'm seeing the fucking Hat Man, bro. I always take allergy medication, like allergy medicine. So I have seasonal allergies. Take a little
happens when you're a beta male. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
I said, you are sick like every day. You've been sick for the last 2 years.
Yeah, but I don't need medicine, bitch. You're a bitch. No, I don't know what's going on. I'm telling you. Like I said, I've said it before. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but wearing masks for a year just They removed my immune system. They've removed it.
I don't know. Well, I guess I wasn't the best about wearing one, so maybe.
Yeah, I always stuck with it.
I wasn't the greatest about wearing them. Like, I wore them in public if I had to, but like at work where they were like, you should wear one. I'm like, no one checks in on us. I don't have to put one on necessarily.
You just incriminated yourself against a war crime. You're going to federal prison. I actually work for the FBI. Pulling up my wire. You're going to prison. Goodbye.
Okay. See you. I guess that's it. I guess that's a podcast. I'm going to jail. Take me away.
Yeah. I do a podcast from jail, actually.
It's going to be one of those, like, jail phones. Welcome to the jail edition.
The fucking imprisonment. The felonious episode.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I wasn't great about wearing them. But the thing about the allergy medicine, I'm a bit of a Zyrtec fan now. I take whatever the generic one is because you buy Zyrtec, just the branded Zyrtec, and the bottle is like fucking $40.
Yeah.
But you go to Walmart and you get the generic one. It's in a box. It costs 97 cents.
Really? That cheap?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Because it's fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Granted, to make it the same amount of pills as in the bottle, you have to buy 2, I think.
Yeah, but
But it's like $2 to like, legitimately, it's like $35.
that's fucking crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So, I buy Zyrtec, right? But before that, I would have Benadryl. Benadryl should be illegal, bro.
Yeah. Not showing your ass.
Benadryl fucks you up. You take, not even taking like an absurd dose. You take what it says on the package, and you're like, oh my god, I shouldn't be awake right now.
Yeah.
And most people take it in the morning. So it's like I take this in the morning, and I'm like, I shouldn't drive. What's wrong?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Especially if you have like a long commute. Like imagine an hour drive, and you're just.
Yeah, I would be fucking out, bro. And that always used to be the case. That was never the case though for me with NyQuil, but nowadays. Like, the last couple of times I've been sick, I'll take NyQuil. I'm, like, fucking immediately out.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, when I was just sick, I've bitched about it on the podcast before about how, like, NyQuil does nothing for me. I took it this last time that I was sick, and it actually did lay me out, so.
Because I think, melatonin used to not do anything for me now, but now it does. Mm-hmm. But I don't use it very often.
Oh, dude, on the topic of melatonin, I fucked up last night. I forgot that we switched dosages on the melatonin. We ended up going with the 10 milligram ones, and we were originally taking the 5.
Oof.
So I took 2 5s. Usually that's why we switched to the 10. I took 2 10s last night, forgetting we switched it.
Oh my god.
Bro, shit laid me out.
Is that why you woke up late this morning?
Yeah, probably.
Jordan texted me this morning.
At like 9:40.
Yeah, he's like, I just woke up. I might be a little late.
Yeah.
Little does he know. When he texted me, I had just rolled out of bed. Like
It's really funny that a late morning for me is like Chris is like, nice and early.
Rested. Because here's the thing. It's Friday. I get down on a Friday. I start drinking or something. Right? So if I'm ever off on a Saturday during a podcast, because I drank rather heavily, but like, I think my problem is, or I know my problem now, because I proved my hypothesis, is I don't hydrate enough when I drink.
Yeah.
Last night, I was like, for every shot I had like a bottle of water. I was so well hydrated.
Yeah.
I replaced the filter on the Brita, the little fucking Brita
for the sink
machine.
Yeah.
And I would just had this one water. I'd been filling up this water bottle. I drank so much water. I have never felt so hydrated in my life. And I woke up, I fell asleep around like 1 o'clock, and then I was awoken by some intense tummy pains at about 4:30 this morning, and I felt fine. I felt fine, other than the tummy pains. Some intense tummy pains. I had to use the bathroom. Then after that, I felt fine.
Oh, man.
I wasn't even like, I feel like I was like, well, I probably should feel hungover right now, but I didn't.
Yeah. So the first day I was sick last week,
Keep hydrating.
I fucking woke up at like 4 a.m. with the same thing. Like, it wasn't an intense tummy pain, but it was like just this feeling of like emptiness, hollowness in my stomach. And I'm like, man, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. So I just laid there in bed for a while, like, I ain't throwing up. I ain't no bitch. I'm like, I'm not letting this happen. So I kept suppressing it, and then I was like, oh, fine, I should just throw up. I walked over, I lifted the toilet seat, and I was like, I wonder if I have to. And I immediately threw up. Like, first time ever in my life that I just was like, oh, check this out. And it was super easy. But because it was so surprising, fucking shit came out of my nose. This shit hurt.
Ooh, yeah, I have a fucking stomach of steel.
Yeah, I had a lot of M&Ms too, so that hurt too.
I haven't thrown up in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Like probably since I've had like mild food poisoning when I was like 12.
Yeah, this last time I was sick, I threw up all the M&Ms. I ate like one of the share size bags. I ate like almost the whole thing of peanut M&Ms. That shit hurt coming back up, dude.
I can imagine.
That shit hurt. It was like shards of glass.
Yeah, I can fucking imagine. That's
chew your M&Ms.
That shit's rough. Yeah. Well, no, actually, if you just swallowed them whole like pills, they would be rounded, so it wouldn't feel like glass.
Oh, dude, you probably choke on that on the way up too, because they'd all get stuck in the same tube.
There'd be one lump of M&M coming up.
Fuck.
Or I feel like it's that's bad, but I feel like Captain Crunch would be worse. Oh, Captain Crunch tastes like broken glass.
Yeah.
Like, well, it doesn't taste like broken glass, but it has the same consistency as broken glass. I imagine. I've never eaten broken glass,
but it's probably similar.
Broken glass, I've heard, tastes exactly like blood.
Wonder why. Wonder why.
That's a joke I stole from someone.
You should hit the funny button.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Can't forget the funny.
The audience likes this one.
Yeah, it's way funnier to talk about the audience when we're just alone in this dark room, just staring at a camera. So, not even like on a fucking TV show, like.
Oh man.
Nope.
And it's like, and I want to mention something about our setup as well. It's like having a monitor because I can see the reflection of the phone's screen that shows our frame. Yeah. So like I could see the edge of the frame right now. So like. Woo, I'm out of frame. Oh, I'm back in.
Yeah, exactly. Same right here.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
What were we just saying?
We were talking about fucking getting sick, throwing up. I called you a beta male for your allergies, and you said Benadryl.
Yeah,
and then we were talking about how it's like, you take this one pill, and I said, you're dead.
Yeah, and I haven't, I'm saying I haven't thrown up in a very, very long time.
Yeah. Before this, it was a pretty long time back.
Which, I don't know if I'm an anomaly or I'm just not drinking like everyone else is. So I feel like I'm a fairly heavy drinker, but like I've never gotten sick.
I'd have to see because I've never gotten sick either. Like even in Monterey, where we drank a good bit, and I was at my first real experience drinking.
In general, though, I think I've only gotten like properly fall down drunk, like in a point where I was moving at like 2 frames per second. I was like
Yeah, once you hit 1 frame, dude.
I was at like 2 FPS, and then the next morning, like the next day, I was like suffering.
Yeah.
But I didn't get sick from that.
It's also our age, too. Our boss has said a bunch of times that.
Maybe that's the case. I thought that was just the case for like hangovers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like we rebound pretty quick.
Couple of fucking rebounders over here.
Couple of rebounders. Give it like 3 years.
Rebound gone.
Rebound is going to be gone. And then I'm just going to be like... Every day I'm going to walk in like...
Just stinking of whiskey.
And it's not even going to be like from the night before. It's going to be from like 2 days, like 5 days ago. Just, oh, God.
You better not turn into fucking like the guy I used to work with at my previous role who fucking just had whiskey breath every morning. I will not do this podcast if you just have whiskey breath every fucking time we do it.
No, I can't imagine like...
How much you'd have to drink to do that?
Well, no,
not to mention in the morning.
Imagine like waking up and just like... You know what I'm going to do bright and early is drink.
I'd see this fucking guy at 6:45 in the morning.
Drinking's what you do at the end of the day.
Yeah. Usually.
Normal
people.
You know, I'm like, oh, it's a crack of dawn. Let me start drinking. Like, what the fuck?
Crack of dawn, I'm going to crack open the whiskey.
Like, I just like, even if it's a weekend, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing anything tonight. Let me just fucking 1:30 in the afternoon. Let me start drinking. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Even in Monterey, we waited until like 4.
It was like that's like one of the only times I've like
day drank.
I guess. Like it was just like 3 p.m.
We're also depressed though.
Like it was like we, I don't understand the mentality personally.
Yeah.
It's a very, very. I feel like it'd be a very, very rare occasion for me to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I don't know. I'm just not crazy about drinking in general. I only do it when I'm with people, like when I'm with friends. Or like tonight, actually, no, tonight I have D&D, so I'm not even gonna be able to. I had planned on it. I was gonna make some mixed drinks with Letsy, but I have D&D. I have to drive at fucking 2 a.m, so there's no point.
Just drive drunk. You'll be fine.
I used to bring alcohol to D&D, and then we would drink it, but we would drink it fucking 10 o'clock, and I'd leave at 1 a.m. Like, and it was a fucking Angry Orchard or 2. One time I was there, I had 4, but
like if you go to like a restaurant, you're like, well, I gotta drive home, so I'll have like a drink,
a beer, yeah, not
and
six.
And it's not even enough to like where you feel anything. Yeah. Unless you're mutual friend of ours, he has like 3 Bud Lights and he's down for the count.
Yeah, now he has 1 Bud Light and he's down for the count. So. Yeah, but no, yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't drink a ton. I love to when I'm out. Like I've said before, like the next big drinking excursion, minus like when we went to the restaurant with everyone from work and then our boss drove me, would be like if we did like a Monterey 2.0. Yeah. That was the last big drink. That was the last time that I drank a lot.
That was fun. Jordan started to get out of order in public.
Yeah.
I have a very distinct memory of Jordan leaning across the table and looking at either me or the person sitting next to me and going, "I am the moderator, bitch." He was yelling.
Yeah.
Like, there were people like staring.
Why was I calling myself the moderator?
I don't know. I don't even remember.
Do you remember when I was trying to get Giraffe Man's attention? I was like, and my mouth was moving, but I wasn't saying anything. I was just pointing at him a bunch of times.
Or he was talking. He was like talking to you and like a bunch of other people, and you were just like, instead of being like, "Yeah, I agree, this is a counterpoint," or like, "This is to add to this discussion," you were just gesturing vaguely with a bottle.
Yeah, I had the fucking empty fucking what the fuck is it? The Oktoberfest. I had the empty Oktoberfest. I was like, "Yo."
You weren't even saying anything. You were just like,
yeah,
this guy's fucking spitting right now.
This fucking guy, bro.
Facts right now.
I agree. Fall over.
That was a good Jordan moment.
Yeah.
Those days.
Well, I think the funniest thing about that night was before I had gotten drunk enough to not remember a ton of it was Giraffe Man didn't know that I had been driven there. He thought I drove myself. So he saw me crush 3 beers and he was like, he looked at me. I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Drinking."
He almost had to like go dad mode. And he had to put his foot down.
When the lady delivered like the 3rd beer or the mixed drink after the 3rd beer, because I had I think 3 beers, the 3 Oktoberfest,
it was
a
like,
mixed drink.
Stop.
Yeah, I had a mixed drink and like half of Alex's mixed drink, and he like grabbed it from me, and our boss was like, "No, I drove him," and he's like, "Oh, I almost went dad mode," and he put it down.
I remember Alex bought a drink for
and he
spent like $14 on a drink,
or he just didn't want to drink it.
A mixed drink, you don't spend a ton of money on them, or you don't get cheap mixed drinks. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So he spent like $14 on this drink, and he had like 2 sips of it.
Yeah.
And
then I had been drunk enough at that point that I was like, "Give it."
Like he had 2 sips, and I had 1 sip that was like more than the 2 sips he had taken.
Yeah. And then I finished probably like a half of it on top of. Yeah. I got the same drink, finished that.
Yeah.
Then the 3
and
beers.
And I was like, I would take it, but it was like, it's tequila. I don't like tequila.
Yeah. The one thing I don't like about drinking with all the boys or whatever, well, I should say all the guys, is because of their life schedules and the fact that they actually have responsibilities that we don't. Yeah, we have to go out on a Wednesday.
Shit,
so like I got that drunk and literally it was like drunk, work. Like I woke up and I was like, "All right, gotta go to work now." Like I don't remember anything in between. I remember shambling up the stairs. I shambled up the stairs. I pre-gamed myself like, "All right, I gotta make sure I sell this to Letsy that I'm not totally drunk."
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I was like, I gotta make sure.
Fall the fuck down.
I'm like, I gotta make sure she doesn't think I'm like drunk because she'll be pissed. So I walked in. I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm just like sitting there like wavering in place. I'm just like shaking in place, and then I just like went to bed, and I don't remember a single thing after that. So yeah, it was a bit interesting, but that was the last time I drank like big, and I'd love to do something like that again, but even bigger with like a bunch of people in like an Airbnb or something where we don't have to worry about designated drivers, we don't have to worry about someone fucking killing themselves. Like if Letsy came, just take all the keys, hide them, take everyone's keys at the start of the night,
all the keys,
and then we just do our thing, you know.
Yeah, there's something, I don't know. I'm just extra responsible. I feel like I feel like even when I'm drinking, I'm very I'm a very responsible and like adultish drunk. Like,
It's not us that I don't trust. It's the same guy who drank 3 Bud Lights and then tried to get in the car that night. So tried to drive himself home.
Here's the thing. The best part about that was he drank like that. I was definitely like, he's gonna get fucking thrown out. Yeah. He's gonna get thrown out. And then we were like, okay, it's time to go. And he just went off on a side quest. You're like, okay, it's time to go, and he just booked it out of the restaurant we were in. Yeah. So, but I think that would be fun to be in like, but I never am like, oh man, it's trouble for me to walk right now. I'm gonna get my keys.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Like even in Monterey, you, me, and Alex were drunk enough. We weren't like crazy drunk. We were drunk enough that we all were like, we can't drive right now.
That's like
not one person was like, no, we should go to the store. Like we were all just like, no, we can't drive.
It was actually like very explicit. I was like, okay, I need confirmation that we're not going anywhere because once I start, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, not until it's either the next day or if it's way later and you're sobered up or something. But yeah, I think that'd be fun to do.
Let's put some stuff in motion. We'll do another excursion, I think.
Yeah, I think we should.
I have on here some like summer vacations ? And I was thinking about like what could we do? Cuz like what did we do last year? We went to the Airbnb, we went to Monterey,
went to Maine. And I definitely want to do something while keeping it like kind of straightforward. Like we're not trying to spend fucking $10,000 here doing this, but like a nice little trip with the boys, like me, you, Alex, or something, or me and you, whatever, it doesn't matter. Something nice,
Nice little trip with the boys,
Yeah, yeah.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I did get Mr. 3 Bud Lights on board with going to somewhere, like anywhere. The only problem is because me and him have the same job, like same exact job. We would have to do it probably like a Saturday, Sunday sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's the only problem. Granted, I mean, you technically have the same job too, same company, but like you can be out and Alex can be out and it's not really that big of a deal. But if me and 3 Bud Light Boy are out,
Bud Light Boy.
It might not be. If we get some new team members, it might be okay, but I doubt we're gonna.
So. Yeah, we'll have to plan it out.
Yeah. So we'd have to figure that out. Or we just fucking we just quit. We just all quit simultaneously.
That's probably not in any of our best interests.
I don't know, man. My mental
much less yours.
Yeah, true.
I feel like the least of which, the whoever's interested is in the least, it's yours because you have like an apartment to pay for.
True.
I do not.
True.
Whatever you spend on your apartment, I spend on my car.
True.
And insurance.
Yeah, that's what happens when you hit things sometimes, We were talking about that outside about insurance.
We were talking about that.
Chris goes, I thought he was being legit. He's like, I have some advice for you on insurance.
Piece of advice for you.
Don't hit anything.
Don't fucking hit anything.
Yeah.
Well, here's the issue. I have no problems with hitting something.
Right. It's someone's thing. That's a problem.
Like hitting someone, like a person straight up or a person's car. That's where I have problems. Like, if I hit a fucking bollard in a parking lot, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. When I drove the truck, the very first...
The F-150 or the Canyon?
No. The very first truck, the truck my dad had when I very first started driving.
Yeah.
It was a Silverado.
Oh, yeah, that big boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You brought that to school a couple times.
Big guy. Big truck. I worked at Burger King. I got there, and I was getting to a parking spot, and there was a sign in front of it with a yellow bollard, and I just went, yeep, boonk, and I hit the bollard, and I just like backed up a little bit, and a few weeks later, my dad and I were outside. He was standing in front of the truck, and he goes, "Did you hit something?" "Oh, maybe. I don't remember." And it's not like he would be angry if I.
He was just more curious. Yeah.
He was just more curious because he even said this like, "This is your first. You just got your license. You're gonna hit things. Yeah. Shit happens, man." And he said when I got into the crash with the Prius, he was like, "I was just waiting for your first one. Like it was, and I'm glad I was here for this one, for the first one, because if he hadn't been, it would have been like." Please, I crashed my car. It definitely would have been like. It definitely would have been that situation.
There's no shame in that. Are you kidding me? Like, even when I got rear-ended, I don't even live with my mom, and when I got rear-ended, I called her and I was just like, "This fucking bitch, she fucking hit me."
Well, that's a different story.
You
If
gotta vent.
if I was the one that got rear-ended,
Yeah, you got to vent to someone.
oh,
dude.
it would have been over. It would have been
Yeah.
fucking just like in that situation, because he was behind me and we were getting onto the highway. We were on the side of the highway, and a guy in a truck almost hit my Fiesta as it was behind me that my dad was in. Then it would have been over for that guy.
Chris is like, "Give me a minute." Walks out, just beats this guy to death.
I'm talking to like an actual state trooper about it. Hang on a minute. And I go, hang on a minute. You're gonna need to book me. And I just start beating the shit out of the guy that hit my car, like, because if I lost the Prius and the Fiesta in one day,
Oh my god.
I would have probably, someone in the situation would have died.
Yeah. No,
It would
for
have
sure.
been- I would have fucking activated Spartan Rage.
Just goes fucking Spartan Rage. He just tears the car in half, starts beating him with the car.
Fucking, it would be the last punch in the Thor fight. Fucking punching the fuck out of him. Been over.
Oh fuck, man. Yeah, fucking yeah. Just don't hit things like
Don't hit things.
Another piece of advice too, Chris, from me. This is from me, from experience.
Right.
If you decide to spend like $1,500 on new tires and rims,
Yeah.
and then 2 or 3 days later, you're like, I really want some Taco Bell, right? Just make sure you're aware of the design of the Taco Bell drive-thru.
Brother, listen. Been there before.
Yeah.
Been there. Like, listen. I don't know if I even talked about this on the podcast.
The thing that just happened?
The thing that just
No,
happened.
you didn't. That's kind of what I was hoping you'd get to. Because I don't even know the full story.
I don't curb my tires very often, and legitimately, I've only done it like maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 since I started driving when I was 16 and a half.
Yeah, same. Like that Taco Bell incident was probably my second or third time.
Or technically,
ever.
I started driving when I was 16, but driving alone when I was 16 and a half.
Yeah.
Right. And every time I do it, though, it is fucking cataclysmic. It is like of biblical proportions of disaster. And I was already off. I was already having a bad morning. Woke up late and I'm like, you know what? You know what would be a lot faster than going up, getting something to eat from the house, because I gotta wait for it all to make and whatever, make the coffee, and I'm back, I get dressed, the whole fucking thing. What if I just speed run getting dressed and then I go get some McDonald's breakfast? So that's what I did. I got a McGritty, I got a hash brown, I got a coffee. I was like, okay, this was a bad morning, but I'm feeling great. I was chomping down in this McGriddle, and I was in the parking lot. I was just chomping down in this McGriddle, making record time. And then I turn, so I was parked next to a curb. I turn away from the curb. My rear wheel hops the curb and slams the vehicle down. And that sounded expensive. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm going to continue driving anyway. I'm not even going to bother. So I didn't. And then I drove to school. And I looked at it afterwards. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. Because there was not only a pit or a gash on the rim itself. There was a fucking slice in the tire. In the sidewall of the tire.
So the worst place, by the way.
Fuck me. I can't even get this patched. But I remembered something. I went, Eureka! I had a little discovery. And I remembered that when I got my tires replaced from that other incident where I jettisoned out at highway speeds, I got a warranty, a road hazard warranty. And this is a hazard in the road, technically.
The curb, yeah.
This stationary object that I could have very easily avoided if I wasn't stupid.
Wasn't a fucking moron, yeah. Happens.
I go to the tire place. It's actually last time we recorded the podcast. I go to the tire place and say,
yeah,
hey, brother, need me a new tire. Mine's fucked up. Sidewall damage. He goes,
don't know how it happened.
He goes, he didn't even inquire. He's like, you're good. You're covered. And it's under the road hazard warranty. So I make the appointment.
So you're like, sweet, warranty.
Make the appointment.
Hell yeah.
Warranty replacement. How much do you think a warranty replacement would cost?
$350.
$399, brother.
Yeah.
Right? So, my dad brings in the car to have it done, and he texts me. Says, did they say there was going to be a charge? No. It was covered under warranty. And turns out the tire,
the physical object,
the physical rubber ring, the tire
with air in it.
You gotta pay extra for the air. You don't have to pay extra for the air. The physical tire is free, which is great because it's a majority of the cost. It was like $200 for this tire.
Yeah.
Great. That's 100% free. Free 99, baby.
Yep. You got some free rubber, dude.
Exactly. And they charged me for the balancing of the tire, and they charged me for putting a new road hazard warranty on the new tire that they just replaced. So it was like a $50 charge.
Did they do anything with TPMS for it?
There was like a reconditioning the sensor charge. I think that was like another $5 or something.
Yeah.
Or like $10, I don't know. And then but it was like $50 in total to get this free warranty tire replaced.
Which is better than
$250.
But not free.
I'll take it, but it wasn't free. But whatever, it's done. And it was quick. I thought it was like, oh man, this is going to be a fucking hassle, isn't it? It's going to be like, oh, hey.
We have to send an investigator out.
Yeah, like I thought it was going to be like,
scene.
Hey, I got my car in the parking lot. Okay, let's go look at it. He's going to fucking make notes and be like, well, how did you get this damage? And I would have to make something up. And like, But no, he was like, okay.
Yeah,
It was like doing a Harbor Freight warranty. You ever warranty something at Harbor Freight?
I have with my dad before, yeah. They're just
because it's a no questions asked warranty.
Yeah.
If you have a screwdriver from one of their screwdriver sets and it's like broken, and you go, hey, this screwdriver's fucked up, and they will either A, find the individual screwdriver and hand you a new one, or if they can't, they'll hand you a whole new set.
Yeah.
So
Town for Tire, I have such a love-hate relationship with them because they're pretty seamless like that, but also these are the same motherfuckers who never order anything. Anytime I call and place an order, they always forget to order something, whether it's the rims or the tire itself. And they were like, that Yaris, yeah, it's a little rusty. We're not going to put it on the lift. We're going to put it on jet stands.
The time I went, I must have just gotten like a particularly good employee, because the last time I went to get the tire replaced, the guy was like, it was like I was talking to a wall.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, is this covered? He's like, what's your phone number? I give him my phone number. Yeah, it's covered. Can I make an appointment? Or like, I shouldn't have to guide this interaction.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I got the tire ordered. I'll make the appointment. 11:30 on Tuesday. Okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And like, but when I got my tires replaced, like, and the rims, the guy that was there, while he was writing up the whole sale and everything, like we were having a conversation. We were chopping it up. It was like I was there for like 20 minutes just talking to this guy. He was like, wrote it up, and I paid him.
Yeah, that's how it was the first time with the Cobalt. And then when I took it back to get an alignment after I did the tie rods and all that, it was more of like a shut off experience. And then the Yaris was just like a joke. Yeah, they didn't order the tire, so they had to put some rando fucking tires on it. Then they made a big deal about putting it on the lift because the bottom was rusty, but then they put it on jack stands, which is substantially less safe.
Yeah, instead of using the lift, which has like pads that are like yay big that disperses out the weight.
Yeah.
They put it on the jack stands, which have pads that are like that big.
Just to punch through the fucking undercarriage.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever. That was their doing. Fuck them. I don't care if it falls on them. It's their problem. But then, they fucking put the tires on. I'm like, all right, cool. I get in the car. I'm like, oh, weird. They didn't give me any, like, alignment paperwork. And then I realized I paid for the fucking four-way balance and, did I do two-way or four-way alignment? Whatever alignment I did. They didn't do it. They didn't do any alignment on it. I'm like, it feels good enough. Like, whatever.
Good enough.
Like, it's fucking annoying. I kind of hate Town Fair. And I also have a love-hate relationship because on the same note, if I fucking hit another Taco Bell fucking drive-through, I can be like, check out my tire, replace it.
Yeah. I mean, because I tried to go with Pep Boys originally. Pep Boys does everything for less.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I should have gone with, Town Fair, New England's #1 tire dealer.
Yep.
Because Pep Boys, I asked them to order the tires, and they said, sure. And I didn't pay them. They said, you can pay us when we get them. Never got them. I called like a week later. Hey, do you have my tires? No, we didn't get them. I think they said the order wasn't even placed.
Oh, cool.
It's like, oh, fucking great, cool. Put those on order for me, brother. And then, more time goes by. And then something happened where all of a sudden now I really do need tires, like right away.
A little thing like a wheel falling off.
A little thing happened where I really need tires like right away. So I'm like, I walked into the town fair and they had me set. So it was easy. So I don't know.
Yeah, they're okay. I mean, to your point, they have some good days, some good bad days. Like the first time I brought the Cobalt into it was fucking great. Number one, he was like talking about the car. He's like, "Oh, I had this car. Like I used to have one of these." Or I think he had the Mercury version or whatever. And he's like talking about it, and he was just, he was like, "Oh yeah, I liked it." Blah blah blah. He's just telling me some stories about his car. He's talking about the wheels. He made sure I had everything I needed. He gave me a discount because they fucked up ordering the rims again. And he gave me, I think, one or two of the TPMS sensors for free to kind of make up the difference in cost because the new rims were more expensive, but I was already there. So, like, he was fucking butters. He asked me for a review on Google. I gave him a 5-star review. I referenced him. I was like, that guy's fucking great.
Yeah, there was it's kind of the same situation. It was like the guy was like, I was talking about, the Fiesta ST, and I don't have it with me right now because it's in the shop, but this and that happened. And he's like, oh shit, my buddy's got one. He loves it. And he's like, I got a WRX. I did this, and this. Oh, shit. We were chopping it up. It was a good time.
Yeah, when I sent the Cobalt in for the evap code, the guy, I was asking him about it. I'm just like, yeah, so what'd you find? Like, oh, you found this. Oh, it's interesting. Like, fuck. I'm glad you fucking found it because I would have never figured that shit out. And he was like, oh, yeah, funny enough, the guy who worked on your car or whatever has a 2007 Cobalt LS Coupe Red just like it. And he was like, yeah. So he saw it. He was like, oh, I'll do that one. I got this. So, like, he had that shit under lock. Like,
he knew.
Yeah. So he understood the assignment. He did the Serpentine as well. He was like, yeah, I've done this like a fucking twice on mine. So like, check this shit out. And yeah, he just banged it out. I was like, damn, that's kind of interesting.
Nice.
So, yeah. And then when I brought the Cobalt, because I brought it after the RS, it was a fucking nice little fucking movement I did there. Dropped off the RS, drove the Cobalt, picked up the RS, left the Cobalt. And then Letsy dropped me to get the Cobalt after when it was done the next day. But when I brought the Cobalt, the guy was like, well, you have 2 cars? I was like, yeah. He was like, so you're picking up the silver one? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, you had me way confused, man. He was like, he was like, you asked for a serpentine belt on both. And he was like, but I thought we already did it. So I was like really confused for a second there. That was wicked funny. It was a pretty good experience. So even though it cost me $1,000, that was fun. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Man, I love spending money. Gotta be
especially
my
on
favorite
things
thing.
that don't necessarily improve anything, in like a meaningful way. So like when your car just decides, hey, those vapor lines, I'm gonna just not have those, and then you need them replaced. In fairness, dude, like if I tried to do that myself, it would not have been worth my time. It was a fucking 12. It was a 12-foot and like a 15-foot vapor line. I would not even want to be on my back under that car trying to run this fucking line all the way up to the engine. Fuck that.
Yeah, with most maintenance items, I cut my losses. Like, if it's brakes, I guess I'll do brakes. If it's like an oil change, I guess I'll do an oil change. Unless like the case with my Fiesta where the fucking lug nut was put on, but with the goddamn 18,000 foot-pound 1-inch drive fucking.
How many Ooga Boogas did you put on?
Dude, at least fucking 20.
Yeah.
And it was fucking on there, bro. And then I'll be like, you know what? Let's take this to someone who knows what they're doing. Likewise, or in addition to someone with more experience, if they fuck it up, they have to fix it.
Yeah.
If I fuck it up, I have to fix it.
Or eat the cost.
And it's my fault.
Yeah.
If I can pin this on someone else.
Yeah.
Easy.
That's usually why shops charge you more. Like same thing with parts. The reason shops upcharge on parts is so that if that part fails, they can give you the guarantee. You know, like that's just how it is. So sometimes you got to pay the good bucks for the good service at the end of the day, right? So I intend to and have so far done pretty much everything that I can on my own. So like the only thing I've backed out of was the vapor line because I just didn't know what it was. I didn't have the tools to figure out what the fuck the leak was coming from. And the temp sensor and thermostat because I went to do it. I bought all the parts and I went to do it and they were like, hey, you have the California model of the car. So similar to how the fuel filter is in the fuel tank, this fucking thermostat housing is underneath the engine, underneath your EGR assembly. So like you kind of need it on a lift. And I was like, well, I don't have a lift. So so I just sent it in. And sure enough, 45 minutes later, $250 later, I got new thermostat, new temp sensor, and a coolant flush. Mint.
Yeah, that's the thing with like I feel as though every time like I want to do something with my Fiesta, I'm like, yeah, I'll do this myself. It'll be fine. And there's some like glaring issue that fucks me on doing any maintenance. Like, and it's not like typical stuff like when we did like the spark plugs on my truck. It's like, yeah, that was a fucking pain in the ass. But like it was a pain in the ass, but we could do it.
Yeah, it was only a pain in the ass because it was the inline 5. Like that was the main thing.
And I've noticed with the Fiesta, it's like, it's not that doing this would be a pain in the ass. It's that doing this is fundamentally impossible with the tools I have, or not worth my time with the tools I have. Because like, and on top of that, getting under the car while it's on jack stands isn't something I've ever really been warm to.
Yeah.
So I always have like I always have so many methods of like backup methods.
Fucking tire underneath, all the jats.
I got the Chris Fix tire underneath. I got the jack stands. I have like 2 fucking floor jacks with it on. Like,
dude, you want to talk sketchy?
If something happens, it's fucking, something's catching it.
Dude, you want to talk sketchy? Trying to figure out at the time before we realized where Letsy's transmission fluid was leaking from, right? Front wheel drive car, chalk the back wheels, lift the front. I'm fucking under there with a flashlight. I'm like, turn off traction control and floor it. Like, we gotta see where this shit's coming from. And I'm under there as the wheels are like spinning on the fucking sides of my head. I'm like looking, and finally I see it dripping from the transaxle. I'm like, there we go. But yeah, that was sketchy for me to fucking figure out.
Yikes.
So that was that was something. Yeah. I'm like, man, I could just like put my arm in there and lose it.
You know what's sketchy? You know what was sketchy?
You?
In terms of tires. Mutual friend of ours, fella who does engineering.
Oh yeah, RAV4 boy.
He ran over some like nail, and it was enough damage that like you couldn't like limp it home by just like pumping up the tire and just getting it home. It's like he hit something on the road.
Yeah, and probably blew a fucking hole in it. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a hole, like
a hole,
decent hole in the tire. And he's like, I got the spare, and I can just go replace it. Can you help me out? Okay. It's the end of the day. Was it? It's 4:30. I'm here till 5. But you know what? It's gonna take me 10 minutes. I'll get out, do this, come back in, be easy.
You were supposed to tell me this story, and you never did, because this is the weekend I was at Pat's.
Well, I'm telling you now.
This is why it's ringing a slight bell, because our boss alluded to this.
So basically, we are. I go out there into the parking lot, and this tire. I'm sorry, I just had a
little buzz going on.
I have to check on this. No, it's fine. So, we got the fucking little service jack that comes with the car.
Yeah.
And it's going, and the lug nuts are off, but this tire, this wheel, is not giving. It is not.
They kicked the shit out of it.
It's not gonna budge. And so what we had, because it was the shitty like included service jack, the footprint of it is like this, like it was like maybe like 4 inches by like 6 inches. It was like a fucking postcard. And so it's already not a wide enough base to support a fucking 3,000 plus pound vehicle. And it didn't really go high enough. And we were on uneven ground. So it was a situation of like, okay, I'm going to brace the car this way. You kick the fuck out of it for a little while. And then when you get tired, you brace the car this way and I'll kick the shit out of it. And we just couldn't get this fucking tire off. I'm like, you know what? We need to call the expert. We need to call the expert. So like, the real expert, Draft Man, nowhere to be found. He wasn't in.
Probably somewhere on a trip.
He's probably off doing
The
his
Draft
job.
Man would have just looked at it and went,
He would have he would have swapped it with his mind.
Yeah.
And but he was off doing his job or something. So I'm like,
Fucking
you know
bum.
what? Who else's employment can we interrupt today? Our boss. Let's go talk to him because he
was there at the office?
He was there at the office. He knows about cars, and I know
Surprisingly,
him.
like a lot.
I know him. He's definitely been in this situation before.
Yeah.
100%. So I come in. I'm like, okay. And the way the way I approached him, number one, and the way I phrased it, he thought I was asking a hypothetical question at first, and I was like, if you have a tire that's like, you got the lug nuts off, but it's like seized to the fucking
Hub. Yeah,
the hub.
it's seized on the hub.
It's like rust welded on there.
Yeah.
Have you been in this situation, A? And B, if you have been, how'd you get it off? And he didn't notice because like I had very clearly like I was like sweating and I was kind of like theoretically you're gonna do this. And he was like, oh, I probably should have been able to tell by the fact that you were very clearly had been doing some sort of physical activity.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? And someone else in that area chimed in, and he was like, okay, I got it. We head to the room that has all the tools and stuff.
Yeah,
we grab
Polar.
tools. We grab like 2 hammers, a crowbar, and like some pieces of wood.
Yeah.
And what we did is same situation. Someone braced the car,
Put the block against the rim.
smashed the fuck out of it with this hammer, and tire came off. Eventually.
Yeah.
Like it definitely, because it's not like we didn't give it. Didn't give it a try of like prying it as well. We used the other end of that tire iron because it's got the pry bar on it to try to pry it, and it wasn't going.
Yeah. When I did the brakes on Lexi's friend's car, that was the same situation. I was just like, dude, I can't get this off. So in my dad's garage, I was looking around. I'm like, oh, sledgehammer, wood. So I stuck it up against the rim and fucking smacked it, and it went flying off. I was like, thank God.
Yeah, we eventually got it.
Yeah.
And
PB Blaster, if you had it on hand, would have probably made it 1 tap instead of fucking 10.
It's a little storytelling technique. We have instead of Chekhov's gun, we have Chekhov's floor jack. Tires off. We're gonna swap the new tire on. Floor jack, uneven ground, gives way.
Yeah.
Fucking. Now, the car is like resting on the
control arm or the hub.
And it's just resting there. I'm like, you know what? It's not in a position where it's really gonna cause damage. So like we can have it sit for a minute. And meanwhile, our boss is trying to like just get a jack under it, just so it can rest on the jack a little bit,
and not on
the ground. Arm. And I was like, okay. And he's trying, and he's like theorizing and doing all these like different. He's like, we could do this or this or this. I'm like, you know what? I think the time has come. The time has come. I gotta call in the big guns.
So you called your dad.
The real expert. I called my dad. I said, "Are you home right now?" Like, yeah.
Of course. What do you need? He's always around when you need him somehow.
Can you do me a huge favor?
Help.
Can you get, I'm in a bit of a bad way. Not me.
My friend.
But a friend of mine.
Who he knows.
Is in a bad way. And we're trying to swap out his tire and the floor jack gave out. Can you go get the floor jack and bring it to us? And he goes, yeah, I'll be there in a little while. And, he saved the day. We got the floor jack. We, actually used a competent real jack, pumped her up, Put the tire on, easy, right? And, bottom line, moral of the story. If you really are in a bind, call your dad. Unless your dad sucks, but,
Here's the thing. Knowing the way Chris's dad is, I totally would have expected this to be. I called him. He just hung up on me. I was like, man, I don't know what that was about. And then he showed up. He picked up the car, stuck the tire on, tightened it all by hand, and said, get the fuck out of here.
He picks it up, he shoves the tire on, grabs each lug nut, and goes, his hand spins around like a robot.
And then he just goes, all right, I'm fucking going home.
I was like, all right, see ya.
Yeah, the thing that's always really fascinating about your dad is he's such a busy person. Like, he gets so much done, but somehow, every time you need him, he's just there.
Oh, he's on it every time.
I don't know how. He's crazy.
And it's never like, can't you get yourself out of this one? It's always like, all right.
Yeah. And then after the fact, there's always a little bit of like, you couldn't do that? But... And you're like,
sometimes there is, but like, it's what it is, man. It's, it is what it is. Sometimes you win, sometimes you got to call your dad.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's how I feel like the first couple times I was working on cars and stuff. Like, I'd always get to this situation where I'm like, man, what am I supposed to do? So I go upstairs. I'm like, Dad, I'm stuck. Like, help me with this. And he's just like, yeah, I saw this back in 1936. Hang on.
It's like, all right, I'm familiar with this one.
Yeah. Like when I was just doing the Yaris oil change, I think I talked about it, where the filter wouldn't come off. And I was like, I think I know what I should do, but let me ask the guy who's done it. And then he just came and did it.
He's like, he's like every dad is like Skips from Regular Show.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, or like, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
And he's got like some fucking trick that he learned in the 40 years he's been in the trades that he's like, yeah, you do this, this, and this, and it's easy. They tell you to do it this way, but you don't do it this way because it's a lot more hard. It's a lot more difficult to do it this way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's literally how dads are, man.
It's, if unless I don't know, do some people have dads that are just like useless lumps? Probably.
I mean, my kids probably will, so...
And that's when you instead of being like, hey, instead of saying, you call me when you're in trouble, call your father, call your grandfather.
Yeah.
If you're in real trouble, that's who you're gonna call. Because if you call me, I'm gonna call him. I need advice from you.
Hey, Dad, my kid's getting arrested. What do? You're very familiar with this.
It's like, I've seen this before. You're gonna go in. You're gonna pay bail. You're gonna get him out. You're gonna hire the lawyer. I know a guy.
His name's fucking Jimmy.
His name's fucking Joe Balls. He's gonna get in there. He's gonna work his magic. And what'd your friend do? Triple homicide? Easy. Yeah, he'll get him on. Yeah. He'll get him off.
Oh, dude, he just fits one of those last week actually.
It's he'll get him off. 12 months served. 6 with good behavior. He's out.
Yeah. 6 with good behavior, and a 23. Like we're good. Yeah. Yeah.
He knows. He's like, yeah, this guy owes me one.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And then it time skips to the next day, and it's like, yep, he's out. We're good. Like, how the fuck? Like, what the fuck just happened?
I have and that interaction was very much like a tiered approach. I was like, okay.
He went up the ladder a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
The hierarchy.
I can't do it. So like, I'm at work, so I got to talk to work dad.
Yeah. Who is very just surprisingly good.
He's very he's very dad mode. So I have to be like, okay. He's like a proto dad. He's not nearly as old as my dad.
Not even close, yeah.
He's got more experience. He's done more things just by virtue of being older.
Yeah.
Right. So let me talk to him first. And usually he's full of great advice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? That's not working. Calling in the fucking ICBM.
Yeah, literally.
the real dad. He's gonna show up.
It would have just been so funny if Giraffe Man rolled up in the Miata. He's just like, "What the fuck is going on? Check this shit out."
That would have been like my. See, that would have been like my second nuclear option. Like if my dad for some reason wasn't available.
Yeah.
I would have called him.
Yeah.
That would have been my second nuclear option. So always have people that you can dump your problems onto.
Yeah.
That's maybe
And
that's,
make sure
maybe
that-
that's the real moral.
And
of
I
the
think
story.
what Chris is really getting at is his point is like, for example, with our boss, Chris only is friends with him for that reason. No other reason.
like,
Doesn't even like the guy.
I have literally no other reason to like this person other than the fact that like
Like, he's not even our boss anymore, so you
like,
really
I could,
have no reason.
I could dump some problems on him. Say like, I got this issue. This is what I'm experiencing. What do you think? You know, we never hang out socially. We never go out to restaurants together.
No.
We never speak, ever.
Ever. I never go to the gym with the guy. Ever. Recently, I haven't. We've been slacking.
Yeah, I mean, probably because you're sick for the 38th time this week.
Yeah, 30th time this week, for real. Yeah, I've been sick. He was on vacation, and he texted me. He was like, "I'll be real with you, dude. I've been getting the best sleep I've had in 10 years. I ain't going shit. I ain't going nowhere." I'm like, all right, now I feel that. I get that.
That's like, he has the same breakdown that, like, you know, the same conversation we had, like, man, I'm just not feeling it, you know?
Yeah.
Just,
I'm feeling it now, Mr. Krabs. This table's pretty nice. I'm liking it.
this is a good table, the new mixer, having a lot of thoughts for new opportunities.
Yep. We can get into the porn industry with this PodTrap P4.
What was stopping us before?
Portability of the mixer. Gonna be able to move around with it. Gotta get them fucking angles, brother. It's all about angles. I know a thing or two about this industry, okay?
Is that where you learned how to slink so well?
Yeah.
I got real slinky.
You just butter us up and say, go at it, bro. And I had to learn how to slink. You gotta slink to survive in that world.
I had to start slinking.
If you're not slinking, you ain't surviving. It's
man.
as simple as that. It's like the Hunger Games out there. But with, like,
You know, I
massive
saw
cuts.
all of those movies in the theater.
In the theater? No,
Yeah.
I saw them all on, I think Netflix or something. There's a new one coming out.
Jesus, there's a new one? I thought they did all the books.
They did. This one's a prequel. It's Hunger Games Song of the Mockingbird or some shit like that. Pull that up, Chris.
No. That was a good one, Jordan. Well timed.
Well, very well timed.
Well timed.
But yeah, apparently I think it's like Song of the Mockingbird or some shit. That's the thing that they have in the whole like series, right? It's a mockingbird, or is it a blue jay? What is it?
It's Mockingbird, I think.
Yeah, so it's the Song of the Mockingbird or the Call of the Mockingbird.
And
or some shit.
the thing is, I find myself saying this more and more over the years, as I descend into becoming very geriatric. You know,
Which is happening very quickly.
happening at an accelerated pace.
Telomeres be shrinking over here.
As I age, I find myself saying more and more, they're making another one of these fucking things? I've said that about so many games and shows and
They're making another Transformers movie, dude.
yeah, again, that was another thing. They're making another one of these fucking things?
Like how, why, when, where?
Like how what for what reason? What reason do you have to make another one when the ones that already exist, and it's not even like a reboot either, it's like just another sequel.
Yeah.
Like, are they making more of these things? And you know, maybe I'm just getting old.
My favorite part of those trailers, though, for the new Transformers is that this is an evil you've never faced, Optimus. It's like, yeah, you said that in the last movie. Like, you say it in every movie.
I think they really jumped the shark when they introduced, I think, like the second Mark Wahlberg one, where they talked about the element that makes up the Transformers being called transformium.
Yeah.
That kind of annoyed me. I saw that in the theater.
It's
too.
like unobtainium in Avatar.
Yeah, like it doesn't, you know. Oh wow.
This mineral we've obtained is unobtainium.
Like what do we call this mineral that allows people to transform? Oh, transformium. Or what do we call this thing that's really hard to find? Let's call it fucking hard to find rockium.
Hard to find him.
Yeah.
Where's Waldo?
Like can't fucking find it. That's what we're calling it.
Oh man, they should call this show then "Can't Fucking Enjoy It." Like,
us or the audience, because I feel like it's on both ends.
yeah.
Some days.
Some days, yeah.
Some days it's like I feel like we've been on just like a real low streak lately.
Yeah.
We show up some days and we're like,
We cut out all the parts where I walk in and Chris is like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, dude."
fuck you, dude.
Your
Fuck you.
dad's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm doing good." Hey, you can't say fuck him. He's awesome. You're not, but he is.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Don't even talk to me.
And then the camera rolls and I'm like, hello, welcome.
Yeah. I imagine that's probably the case with like a lot of like shows or like movies or podcasts where it's like,
another day, another dollar.
I fucking hate this guy. Hello, welcome to the Best Friends Good Old Pals podcast. We're Good Old Pals podcast.
Remember that one time 6 years ago? Yes, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
fuck it.
I remember. Fuck you.
You're a fucking bitch. But yeah, no, we're all right. There's stuff in the work. This mixer didn't come out of nowhere for no reason. It came for a reason that we won't talk about yet.
It didn't come out of nowhere. It came from Amazon warehouse.
That is true.
I feel like the table, huge morale boost.
Bro, this is a fucking morale buff right here. It's a +5 to morale.
This is I feel like this is like a +10 for morale.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like having a surface I can touch. I can feel.
I like touching things.
Well, because before it was very much just like, I'm swinging my arms back and forth. I'm swinging them. And then there was a table in front of us with a bunch of shit-ass equipment. The table looked like dick.
It did.
It looked like it was falling apart. It would like tip over sometimes if we put the mics all the way out.
Now we got this thing sturdy.
Yeah. And I think it's so sturdy that you just did that and it didn't even really pick up the noise. It's not really picking it up because it's much sturdier than the other one. The other one, we would like fucking touch it and be in the audio. So
yeah,
if it didn't flip over and catch on fire. So
yeah, and that one's in the pile to be caught on fire.
Yeah, and this shot will be changing probably soon. You can't see the legs; they're also very nice. So the whole table is constructed very nicely.
Yes.
So
solid.
Yeah. We just need better mic arms now, and then I think we'll have a pretty nice little thing going.
I think so. We're things are looking up for the boys.
Yeah.
But I think
that's all I got though.
I think that's the end for this one.
Yeah, you got somewhere to be.
I do.
I wish I could be that somewhere, but I have D&D, which is fun too. But I haven't gone out with. I've said this before to you about how we need a young lads night out. This could have been it.
The young lads night out would be crazy.
This could have been it. Because we've gone out with, like I said, we've gone on Wednesdays with them. And that's cool. But, like, I want a Friday. Like, I want to fuck shit up on a Friday so we don't have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
But, yeah. You done?
Yeah.
Down for the count?
I already said I was, bro.
Just making sure. Just double checking. You never know.
Bro,
you get those final Synapse Misfires, bro.
If you would literally just listen, you would have...
Why would I listen to you when you're absolutely, utterly useless?
Because you asked me if I was done, and then 2 minutes later you asked me if I was done.
I'm done. Fuck this show. I'm over it.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public,
Spotify Podcast, and the RSS feed all linked below. And as always, you can comment in the YouTube comment section. There's also a video on YouTube and Spotify. And reach out to us via email, synapsemisfire@pm.me. Send your comments, questions, concerns, and threats. Instagram and TikTok. Okay, we gotta go. Bye.